5-element Qigong flow sequence. Now, we practiced that last week for those of you who joined the challenge. If you didn't join the challenge last week, don't worry, because I'll talk you through all of the movements that we do today as well. So you'll be fine to follow this through. We'll start off, as always, with our mobilization and activation. Find a comfortable space around you. You've got space to the side, you've got space front and back. We have that little bit of bend in the knee and really feel strong and stable and connected to the ground. We work on our first mobilization, knocking on the door of life. So you work from the center, from the hips and the waist, rotating, and feel strong, connected to the ground, but just light and lifted through the spine. So the shoulders are relaxed. Upper back relaxed. Our breath is just light and effortless, in and out through the nose, just natural. Just keeping the mouth closed, lips lightly together. The back hand is tapping with the back of the hand onto the lower back. This point here in Qigong, Chinese medicine, is called the door of life. So we're knocking on the door of life, activating, waking up, clearing any tightness and tension. And getting that mobilization through the spine, rotation through the spine. Doing a workshop at the weekend, and we were doing this as warm-up practice, and Kevin made a really good point actually, because we focus on moving from the hips and the waist, but actually you need to use the leg or the contact with the ground to drive the hip and the waist forwards. So if we just slow it down a moment, slow down, slow it down, if you take the leg out of the equation and just think, oh, I'm just using my hips, so I'm driving from the center, it can all be a bit hip orientated, so you can almost like do too much work with the hips. So actually to drive, if I'm mirroring you, to drive this left hip forwards, there's that connection to the ground. It's almost like you're corkscrewing that the left, if I'm mirroring you, that left side. And the same thing with the right side. So you're driving with the ground, using the ground to then start to move the hips, to then let the upper body just lift, 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 and lighten. So just get that idea of connecting through the feet to the ground. And a little bit more weight through the heels as well. So you're not crunching your toes up. Slow it down into water waves. So really just slow it nice and easy. Softness in the fingers, in the elbows, in the shoulders. Feel the air as it runs through the fingers. And then take a rest. Have a little walk around if you need to walk around. So we've done spine rotation. Let's do flexion and extension. So a little bit more bend in the knees this time. And if I show you from the side, we're doing spinal cord breathing, opening up the chest, looking up towards the sky, and then tucking the pelvis under, squeezing the glutes, spilling out the front of the pelvis, looking up, spilling out the back, tucking under. Keep the knees bent. It can be very tempting when you come up to stand up tall. So keep low as you open up the spine there. Keep low here. So if you practiced yoga, then often we do this on the ground when you're doing like a cat-cow. So now we're just doing this standing. And let's do breath in as you come up. That's just easy through the nose. Breath out. Breath in. Breath out. And with all our practice, whether we're doing mobilization, whether we're doing flow, whether we're doing interval training, remember the key is to breathe to your metabolic needs. So just breathe the right amount of air that you need. So if we start to breathe too much, you'll start to feel as if you're gassing out, as if you're getting a little bit lightheaded. So the breath in with this can just be soft. You can't hear it at all. It's coming in through the nose, out through the nose. Extending the spine, flexing, expanding, contracting. Feel that difference, expanding as we breathe in, contracting as you breathe out. Let's do two more. And take a rest. Good. We have done rotation, extension and flexion. Let's now do lateral flexion. So good way to start this or to break down the movement is just to get that shift side to side. So get that weight shift. So hips are parallel to the floor, and then I'm going to shift the weight to the right and shift the weight to the left. So there's that little bit of extra bend in the side, in the knee in the side that you're shifting the weight to. So I'm not dropping the hip side to side like this. So get that going first, shift the weight, shift, 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 and now just let the upper body come along for the ride. So you want to get that spine wave. And particularly, where I always find it difficult is just letting the neck give a little bit. So that's at the end of the movement as well. So there's a real ripple up the body. So as you shift the weight, that hip goes, and then the spine and the head follows. A movement that we very rarely do, and it's actually really good just to get that movement through the spine, that what is called lateral flexion. Particularly also in the neck, you might hear some crunches and creaks. Just let the shoulders relax. And then slow it down. Slow it down. And come to standing. Again, with that one, we talk about leading with the hips, but the hips won't move unless you use the leg to push the hip. And then you use this ground and the ground force there to push that hip. So it's not just moving the hips. So really just be aware of that. And then the rest of the body just follows along with that. Now, the shoulders are relaxed on this, because what you might do is you might start leading with the shoulders. Nothing wrong in that, but I don't want to lead with the shoulders. I want this center to move, and then everything else just to to be like a ripple effect, a knock-on effect from that movement at the center. So relax the shoulders. So I'm not leading with the shoulders. Good, shake out. Let's do a little bit of shaking. So you can, if it feels comfortable, physically tap your heels into the floor. So you're coming off onto the ball of the foot and then dropping and tapping the heels into the floor. And feel that vibration going up the body, through the bones, through the joints, through the muscles, where the shoulders go. So you're using the legs as pumps to pump energy around the body, and then start to use the arms a little bit more. So shake the wrists, so you're using the arms as pumps. And see if you can use the spine as well. Now obviously if there's any pain, if you've got any pain anywhere, then please do stop. So go to your own comfortable level. Make sure you're not pushing or forcing anything. But really get that vibration going through the body. Let the shoulders go. And let's do a couple of breaths in. So let's take a breath in and then a sigh out. So breath in and just let go, let it all go. And again, breath in through the nose and let's do one more. One more. Breath in through the nose. And slow it down. Slow it down. Come to standing. Palms just slightly facing forward, opening up the shoulders a little bit. Enjoy the feeling of any tingling sensations running through the body, into the fingers, into the legs, into the feet. And letting the breath settle. Good. Now let's go into our flow movement. So the idea of the mobilization, the activation, any stretching that we do is all about us moving our body to clear energy, to move energy around the body, to free up any tightness and tension. When we go into the flow, then the idea is that the energy starts to move the body without us having to try to do anything. So that is the whole idea of just flowing nice and easy. So let's start off with our feet shoulder width apart again. A little bit of bend in the knees. And we will start off with the metal element, which is all about energy, bringing energy into the body. The first place where you bring energy into the body is through the breath. And you may just have noticed, I have the window cleaner behind. So this is great. So focus on your flow, not on the window cleaner. So we've got our feet about shoulder width apart, a little bit of bend in the knees, focusing on metal and energy and breath. So it goes with the physical movement. So breathing in, arms face the chest. Continue to breathe in, lifting above the head. And then breath out. Breath in. Breath out. The movement is slow and easy, as is the breath. If you find that you're getting air hunger or you're struggling a little bit with the breath, with the movement, then just breathe naturally in and out through your nose. So the idea of any flow is to make it as easy and effortless as possible. Remember also that these aren't just arm movements. We're not just isolating the arm movement. So if you feel that little bit of weight shift with the lower body, just go along with whatever's happening with your lower body as well. Feel that spine extending. And then softening. Body expanding as you breathe in. Contracting as you breathe out. Buddha holds up the earth. Let's do one more. And the next element is water. So the next movement we're going to do ties in with water. It's called the fountain. Back of the palms, or back of the hands come together, come up the center line of the body. Here the elbows are very soft, relaxed. Shoulders are relaxed. So I'm not lifting with the elbows and the shoulders. And it's like water coming up the center of a fountain and then spraying out to the side. Again, just be aware of what's going on with the lower body. So feel that little bit of a hinge, sort of like the hips go back a little bit and then you stand tall. A bit more weight through the heels. Breathe in, expand. The water element focuses on relaxation. So that the water element runs throughout the whole of the flow sequence or any Qigong flow. Let's just focus on the relaxation. So how relaxed can you feel doing this movement? You can imagine that you're drawing water from the earth through the feet up the center line. Breath in. Breath out. Breath in. Breath out. The more you practice these movements, the more you get into the flow. If you just say, oh, I'm just going to do my Qigong practice once a week, and I'm just going to do 3 reps of each movement, then you're not really going to feel the full benefit. Yes, you will get some benefit because you're doing some movements, and any movement that is done well and mindfully is going to be beneficial, but consistency is the key. So the more often you do these movements, the more you'll just go, oh yeah, gosh, that feels so different today, or I need a little bit more water today, or I need a little bit more metal today. It really is about tuning in, listening to the body, and also noticing any physical tightness and tension. And then knowing when we do our cleansing and clearing, maybe some of the areas that you need to work on. 2 more fountains. expanding. Breathing in. And then take a rest. The next element is wood. Wood, if you think of a tree, is really paying attention to resilience. And we create resilience not just by being strong and rigid, but having a balance of strength and flexibility. So that's like with anything in life. So in terms of structure, in terms of breath, in terms of mind, we want a certain amount of strength, a certain amount of flexibility. And that will vary depending on what you're doing. If you're going for a nice, easy, gentle walk, maybe you don't need as much strength as you do as if you are going for maybe an interval training running session. So it's all about how you balance strength and flexibility. So this is tree sways in the wind, great way of focusing on that. Palms facing up, you're a tree, there's your tree trunk, really feel grounded and rooted. I'm going to mirror you. So we're now going to rotate from the hips and waist to the right. Hands come up that right side of the body. Connect to the crown of the head. This is great for lengthening the spine up. And then rotate back to center. And then you are the tree shedding its leaves. And then we go the other side. So left, come up, pointing to the crown of the head with the middle finger, shedding your leaves. Strength, because you're grounded, you're stable, you're strong through the roots, but also flexibility because we're getting that spine rotation and flexion there, so you're getting that flexibility in the hips, in the knee, in the ankles, in the body, combined with that strength. Now, if the breathing works for you, breath in. And we have a little bit of a lull at the top of the breath, breath out. A little bit of lull at the bottom of the breath, then breath in. Breath out. In, breath out, in, breath out. Again, if that breathing pattern is a little bit challenging, just breathe easy in and out through the nose. These flow exercises, you almost want to get to a stage where you just think, oh, I could just keep going, I could just keep doing this all day long. You never want to get to a point where you're feeling stressed or where you're feeling that you've got any aches or pains, then obviously you just stop if you've got any pains. It's not about pushing through anything at all. It's about finding that natural, easy, effortless flow of movement and breath combined together. And then just bringing the palms so they're facing the chest there. Moving into our next flow movement. It's called cloudy hands. And this is focusing on the fire element. So this is about enjoyment. So with this one, natural smile, that inner smile, do enjoy what you're doing. And we get a little bit of sort of like a figure of 8 with the hips. So you shift the weight. So I'm going to mirror you, shift the weight to the right. As we shift the weight, the hips start to move to the right. Hands and the upper body follow. Shift the weight to the left. And get that real sort of like sense of nice, smooth, fluid movement. Feel that sense of uplift, so lifting and lengthening the spine. Get that sense of being energized. And really present with the movement that you are creating, that you are doing. And the breath with this one is just naturally easy in and out through the nose. Just have that inner smile on your face. Cloudy hands, it's like that top hand is a cloud floating across the sky, the bottom hand is the cloud, is the shadow of that cloud. And then just bringing the hands towards the center here, towards in Qigong what we call the lower dantian, which is just below the belly button, towards the spine, the back of the body. And our final element is the earth element. So this is about grounding, centering, really stabilizing the body, bringing the breath down to the center, also calming the mind, focusing the mind. Really nice visualization. It's called pebble in the pond. You are the pebble as you drop into the pond. There's the ripple of water as it goes out to the side. So there's a little bit of weight shift, or the hips shift a little bit back as you ripple out. So we're not leaning too far again. It's almost just like counterbalancing that movement. A little bit of bend in the knees. We do breath out. And then breath in. Breath out. Breath in. Really feeling grounded and centered. Let's do 2 more. And then a really nice way to always finish a practice is just pulling down the sky. So arms up, elbows soft, bringing that focus down that center line of the body. Expanding, softening and contracting. Bringing palms together over the lower abdomen, over the lower dantian, feet together. Just taking a moment just to do nothing, just to allow the body to rock and sway, find its natural balance, its center. Taking a nice full breath in through the nose. Having a little stretch if you need a stretch. Opening your eyes if you had your eyes closed. Nice, we will finish there. So that's our 5-element flow with 5 Qigong movements that we add to each of those elements. There are other movements, there are plenty of Qigong movements that we can add to these elements as well. So there's so much that you can explore with this. It's not just one sequence. So I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for joining me today, as always. Tomorrow we've got a fantastic, I always say this about our lunch and learns, but this is a really good lunch and learn with Panagiotis, who I'm doing the Greek retreat with at the end of the year in September. He's going to be talking about strength training. I've been watching some of his Instagrams and it's pretty amazing. So that's going to be a really good lunch and learn. That's free. It's 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon to join the lunch and learn. And then on Saturday, if you are members of the Breathe Balance Move Premium, we've got an Unlock the Power of Breath at midday till 1:30, and it's free for you if you're members, £29 if you're a non-member. And then also at 2 o'clock on Saturday, I'm starting one of my 3-week Get the Oxygen Advantage courses, which will work in much more detail on breath work, but we'll also be bringing in some of the Qigong moves to that. So if anybody's interested in joining that, it's a small group and it's live online, and you get lots of videos, content and everything. You get access to a training portal that you have unlimited access to on that. So plenty of stuff to keep you occupied over the weekend. But if you're busy and you're not going to join me over the weekend, then I will see you hopefully on Tuesday for our breathwork session. Thank you. Have a great time. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.